أشهد أن محمد رسول الله.
The theater was transformed into a sacred place. The event was twofold: to honor a nationally recognized community activist, Wauneta Lonewolf Cox, who was battling cancer, and to demonstrate that there is nothing more powerful than interfaith communities coming together in collective prayer to bring healing to an entire community. Over 750 participants attended this healing event.
Father, Mother God, we thank you for every spiritual guide, saint, sage, mystic, prophet, and ancestor that governs the healing powers of our universe. We thank you for this time together and the opportunity to expand our divine spiritual awareness and to receive your spiritual blessings. We thank you for this opportunity to collectively gather for healing,
I choose to use both worlds to heal because there is good in all things. And one of the things I want to share with you right now is to let you know that the spirit world, the ancestors that many of us have been related to, that have made their journey to the spirit world, have never left us. They are all around us. They live within and without our dimensions. And they are there when we want to touch them, they touch us. When we talk to them, they talk to us. I give them love, they give me love back. I ask them for healing, they heal me, I honor them. And I want each one of you to know that just because you can't see something, you can't hear something, you can't feel something, doesn't mean that it doesn't exist.
Beautiful woman, powerful healer, do you know that I am here? Beautiful woman, powerful teacher, do you know that I'm still near? And do you remember you are worthy, so full of love, so full of light? And do you know it lifts my soul to be here with you tonight? To be here with you tonight.
Despite all of our differences, our beliefs, our cultures, our skin color, our bodies, there are some things we all share, and these things make us more the same than we will ever be different. Renowned motivational speaker Wauneta Lonewolf shares her story about complete recovery from stage 4 lung cancer to help each of us realize that whatever the cause, we are not alone in our suffering.
Most people, when they are diagnosed with a chronic illness, cancer, they go into a shell, and it's almost like they're ashamed. They're ashamed of that this has happened to them. They're ashamed to let family and friends know. It's almost like a curse. And I realized that in talking to other people with it, how they perceive it is how they acted it out.
For more than a year, Wauneta battled the cancer invading her body. By the time it was diagnosed, the cancer had spread to several lymph nodes and was making short order of her right lung. After being diagnosed, one of the first actions Wauneta took was to return home to South Dakota for a healing ceremony with her tribe's medicine man. For her, it was time to draw upon everything and everyone she knew, but it was also a time to confront the unknown, conflicts long buried, and lessons not yet realized.
She gave me her symptoms, and before she couldn't even say anything about going to the doctors, I said that I knew that the cancer was spread very fast through the body, and that we didn't have time, to worry about, the symptoms are diagnosed through the doctor, that we needed to do a ceremony right away.
In the ceremony, there was a couple things that he asked me through the spirits. The first question they ask is, do you want to live? And I said, yes, I want to live. And I really didn't understand the importance of that question at that particular moment in time. I knew that this was going to be probably one of the biggest obstacles that has ever happened in my life, and I've had quite a few. But I also knew that this would teach me the most lessons.
During this first of 3 healing ceremonies, Wauneta was told she needed to heal her mind before she could start to heal her body. Initially resistant to the message, Wauneta soon realized that despite all of her accomplishments, there were indeed several aspects of her life that needed healing.
Everything that we've gone through in our life, if we don't get rid of them, we continue to drag them around. They use the word baggage or dark clouds hanging over you. Eventually, they manifest into a physical illness. So I went back, had to go all the way back to my childhood. I thought there were issues I had dealt with that now I realized I never dealt with them, so they manifested.
Wauneta had a long history of painful events to reflect upon, from the loss of her mother when she was only 3, and a childhood where government pulled her from her heritage, to a physically abusive first marriage and being sent to prison. Her path is rich with colors and textures of suffering and survival, and Wauneta was determined to succeed again.
It gave me a chance to be really honest with myself and be truthful about myself. And so I start processing each one of those events in my life and going back and actually putting myself back in those positions and finding the good side of each one of those experiences so I could release it and let it go, and thank Creator for allowing me to go through each one of these things, because it's made me stronger. And as a result of having all these events in my life, it has made me who I am today, which I'm very proud of and very happy to be.
During this process of her life examination, Wauneta had a method of coping and taking some responsibility in how each experience came to be and what she wanted it to become.
A lot of people see her ways and how giving she is, but I don't know if people realize how young she really is at heart. She's a wonderful businesswoman. She's, a beautiful wife, but deep down inside, there's a kid in her that I get to see.
Each one of the things I had to deal with, I had to put a face to it. I had to acknowledge that this is what you chose to do. This was a result of decisions that you've made. Now look on the other side. What you focused on is what you get. If you saw only a negative and that experience, that's what you got out of it. Go back and look at each one of those situations and look at positive things that occurred.
Much of Wauneta's strength and attitude comes from the conviction of her beliefs. Her Native American background brought with it teachings that she explains with undeniable comfort and resolution. For Wauneta, each of us knows on some unconscious level exactly what this life has in store for us.
We have to realize that each one of us came into this world as a result of a choice that we made. Now, this may seem somewhat controversial, but I stand in truth because I've been taken to places where I've been shown these things, and I know that they're truth for me. I share them with people hoping that they can find their own truth. So I want to start at the point where a person actually selects their parents. When you're a ray of light, when you're one of the stars that's up there, and I don't have to say up there because it's all around us, it's just another dimension. When you choose to come back and have a different experience, you're going to pretty much know on that subconscious level the type of experience, the type of life you're going to live. So when you choose the parents, you choose your ethnicity, you choose the family, the environment, where you're going to come through and what experiences you're going to live. It's almost like our lives are predestined.
Wauneta's beliefs mean that she was able to readily accept that her illness had a purpose for her to learn from. But this faith did not come without its challenges, as Wauneta faced tremendous pain, fear, and her own mortality.
Overcoming fear in your life is a major step into create more room for the good things to come in, because fear is natural. It's part of who we are. We're always going to be tested. Just when you think that you've mastered fear, it'll come back around again just to retest you, to remind you. We're given so many reminders in life. So I think part of dealing with all the things I've been through was actually going back and reliving it and looking at it through different eyes, understanding it with a different perception, and only seeing the good in it.
Wauneta was committed to transforming the difficulty of her illness into another experience from which to learn. She took her lack of wellness as a chance to slow down, examine what she needed, and let go some of the control she'd been accustomed to. And for the first time, she allowed friends and loved ones to help her.
There are a lot of strong people out there who never know what it's like to receive. They're always in the constant mode of giving, giving, giving. And it's a beautiful feeling to know you have to lower your pride now, because you have to learn how to ask for things. You have to define your needs. You have to ask people to do things for you. And that in itself is a lesson.
I've asked people who have many gifts of healers in the areas of acupuncture, alternative forms of healing, their herbs, blessing ceremonies, massage therapy, just any form of other types of healing I reached out to. And these are the people who shared their gifts with me and have helped me to stay strong.
Wauneta had discovered that prior to getting cancer, she had been in a pattern of keeping herself so busy that she was often neglecting herself. Traveling around the country to speak to people about their abuse, addictions, and crimes took a lot of time and energy, something Wauneta is still committed to today, but now with a new awareness.
Anytime you give your power away, you're giving away a part of yourself, so you have to go retrieve it. If you give joy away, you've got to go and replace that. You can't just give it away and don't give anything back to yourself, or you can't allow people to take these things from you.
Bridging the gap between Western and indigenous medicine, Wauneta underwent rigorous chemotherapy and radiation treatments, along with remedies like short cartilage, red water, nanji juice, and isiac tea. However, Wauneta is careful not to endorse any product. Instead, she advises it's important to listen to your own body and follow your instincts. Another lesson she learned from her illness, and one she continues to practice.
It gave me an opportunity to slow down, because one of the things that the spirits say is when you're moving very, very fast, they get frustrated because they want to tell you things. They want to teach you things, and you don't have that focus, time, and energy.
Wauneta's healing journey required adjustments to her approach to physical, mental, and emotional health, but she also had to find the strength to make healing occur. For her, the formula was very clear.
Number one aspect to healing is prayer. It's so important to know that our prayers are being answered. It's so important to know that all our prayers go into the ears of our grandfather, our God. There's no prayer that's out there that is thrown aside. Everybody's prayer is important. The second thing is to have faith. Faith not only in your own healing powers, but faith to know that if you truly want to live, there are exceptions to the rule. There are exceptions to your predestiny. Third thing is your attitude, how you honestly feel about the experience. If you feel that this is the end of the world, that you're going to die, if you believe it when the doctors say that you only have 9 months to live, then that's exactly what you're going to get out of it. So I think, those three main areas branch out into a whole bunch of other things, but I would say that those are the three basic things, to just overall healing.
The process of nurturing her body and devoting herself to wellness has become a way of life. But Wauneta's fight did come with a price. Her right lung was completely collapsed, her heart and esophagus shifting in her body cavity to fill in the empty space. Doctors wanted to remove the deflated lung, but Wauneta chose to forego surgery, and the deflated lung remains a part of her, a decision that coincides with her advice to love who you are as you are.
Encourage them to go out with your bald heads, go out with no eyebrows, go out into the public with no eyelashes, and enjoy yourself. because this is part of who Creator wants you to be at this time in your life as you're walking on this particular path. Don't be ashamed of any of your looks, because it's all part of this whole process of, it's like a rebirthing process.
Without the use of her right lung, Wauneta is grateful to once again be enjoying her daily activities with minimum discomfort. But she is most grateful to be able to reach out to anyone who wants to hear about her message of hope and healing.
The message I would like for people to really bring into their heart is, number one, to know that you are a part of God, that you have the pure essence, the divine spirit, the divine nature that you was created to be. No matter what paths you've chosen, decisions that you've made that has made you feel less than, that essence, that spirit is still within you. You have the power to tap into it. You have the power to bring that fire into a full flame, to know how sacred you are, how sacred your body is, how sacred your thoughts are, how sacred your words are, how sacred your actions are. We were brought into this world to be a representative as well as a replication of the highest power that there is, that power that created us, power that we refer to as God. We're an example of that. And that's the type of life we should be living. The other things that we have allowed to come into our lives, the alcohol, the drugs, the violence, the negative messages, the racism, the hatred, those things aren't part of our path. Those things that we've invented because we have felt less than. I would encourage everyone to know that all of you have a very sacred purpose to fulfill before you make your journey to the spirit world. And you'll probably choose many paths to get there. But the most important thing is that once you recognize what that is, that becomes your full focus, that you fulfill that purpose, and that you realize that everything that you do is going to be a representation of that next generation that's going to follow us. We should be able to remove some of these obstacles so they don't have to follow that path. That path should be a little bit easier than the ones we walked on, than the ones our forefathers walked on. And it's all about unconditional love and having a non-judgmental attitude. Illness cannot exist where there is joy. Illness cannot exist where there is wellness. We know there are all types of bacteria and pollution in the air on Mother Earth that we can breathe in that is just waiting to encounter a weak part of our body. If you can maintain a very strong sense of yourself, if you can absolutely honestly say that you truly love yourself unconditionally, that you love every aspect of your divinity, you'll be able to see the divine essence in everyone else around you. And you won't have that feeling of wanting to judge someone, that feeling of wanting to put people down, to put those labels on them, to create that separation. Because what you don't like in someone else is what you dislike about yourself. It's something that you need to work on. When Creator made us, we all had different paths to travel, but the ultimate goal for each one of us is developing a beautiful, powerful relationship with God, with our Creator. And once you do that, you will see how that's going to change your life, change your perception of how you look at yourself, how you look at your family, how you look at your community, how you look at your government, and how you view the universe.
One of Wauneta's last checkups revealed that slowly but surely, the deflated right lung is trying to come to life again. It's showing signs of rejuvenation and growth, signs of trying to breathe again, just as it was made to do. The lung's attempt at recovery is a small but powerful testament to the will to live, to the power of proper care and nourishment, to faith, and the importance of fulfilling a life purpose, and to the belief that the very next breath you take can bring about something truly miraculous.
Taking my next step, walking on this road, following my dreams, learning to be bold, trusting in my God with an open heart. And it's the love that keeps me moving on. keeps me moving on. Yes, in the tenderness, we are feeling strong. And it's the love that keeps us moving on. Taking my next step, walking on this road, following my dreams, learning to be bold, trusting in my God with an open heart. And it's the love